Great location.
Great.
Perek Daled, Pasuk Aleph. Is it working? Okay, Vayhi Devar Shmuel Lechol Yisrael. Perek Daled, Pasuk Aleph. Okay, here we see first that Shmuel has become a Navi. Okay, because it says in the pasuk before, "Kinigla Hashem it says by Yosef Hashem lehera oy b'shiloi." Now it's interesting lehera oy in the pasuk before lehera oy. What's lehera oy to be seen? Because you'll see later on that Shmuel said Anochi haraya. B'v'zois lefanam b'Yisrael they used to call a Navi haraya. So I think that that Lahera Oy B'Shiloi means that he got Nevius over there, and he became a Navi, and he got. It wasn't just this one thing that he told Eli. It was much more. He became, and this next pasuk is Vayhi Devar Shmuel Lechol Yisrael. It wasn't just a Shiloi. Gans Yisrael heard about Shmuel that he is a major Navi. Okay, and Nevi'im were in short supply then. It says later on they were. Hayadvar Hashem Yokar. There was no Nevius, and Shmuel became a major Navi. He was famous. He was well known. Now, actually, this is a totally different thing. This es Nach does the end. Vayidvar Shmuel Lechol Yisrael. Now, Vayetze Yisrael lekras plishtim lamachama. From this is mashma that Yisrael the Glitten from the plishtim, and seems that they went out to fight against the Plishtim. Plishtim didn't. They went. They attacked the Plishtim. Likras Plishtim lamacham v'yachnu al ho'even ho'ezer u'Plishtim chanu ba'afek. We do not know where Even ho'ezer is. It's a certain stone, a very well-known stone. Later on, we're going to find that Shaul had a war with the Plishtim also, and he had a Yeshua over there, and he said Ad heinu azerunu Hashem, and he called the stone Even ho'ezer. So this is already Al Shem Osid. That is this place that later is going to be called Even ho'ezer. But and they stayed in Afek. There's a few places in Eretz Yisrael that's called Afek. It's usually a place where the water flows and comes out. From other psukim later on, it seems that this Afek is with probably, if you go from Shiloh, you go toward the water, you come to around Petach Tikva, where Petach Tikva is today. And near there, there's a flow of water, and it's very likely, a very likely place to have a war with somebody. There's an open area, and the Plishtim, as we know, were mainly living in lower areas. They did not like to go to mountains, and whereas Shiloh was in a mountain, and they were getting pressed by the Plishtim. The Plishtim were attacking them all the time, so now they went out and they made an aggressive war against the Plishtim, put away, and there was a war. Vayarchu Plishtim likras Yisrael, and the Plishtim came against the Yisrael that were attacking them. Vatitosh HaMelchama, and the Melchama spread. Vatitosh l'kilitosh Hashem Amoy, l'natashtim means to spread, to go out, to be pushed out. The Melchama pushed out, and unfortunately, Vayinogev Yisrael lifnei Plishtim, and they lost. They were smitten, as they say in English, before the Plishtim. Vayaku b'maracha, and they were hit in this war. Basada, in the field. Ka'arbas alofim ish. 4,000 of the Bnei Yisrael were killed. Vayovay ha'om el ha'machne, and the people came back to the machne. There was a machne, is the encamping, where I want to show you on the map also. If this is Shiloh, okay. If this is Shiloh, the place that had this war is around over here. This is Shiloh, okay, and the war that they had is around over here, around near Petach Tikva, where Petach Tikva is today, around there. And Vayakam Asar Kabos Alaf Mish, and 4,000 Yidden were of the Bnei Yisrael were killed. Vayavay Amal Machna, they came back to the encamping. When you have a front where they fight, and then each side has a camping where they have the and where they stood around. Like we see that Kisese and you find it over there in Parshas Kisese. If a person is a Balkari, he should go out of the Machne. You cannot be in the Machne. The Machne is in camping place where the soldiers stood and they rested over there. Vayom Ziknei Yisrael, and now apparently it's interesting that they had Ziknei Yisrael along with them. Who were the Ziknei Yisrael? We don't know. First time they're mentioned over here. The Ziknei Yisrael must have been some sort of Talmid Chacham, I guess, or leaders that they brought along with them, who had more experience, and they used to go consult with them, I guess. Vayom Ziknei Yisrael, the Ziknei Yisrael that were in the Machne, Lama Nigafanu Hashem Hayoim Lifnei Plishtim. You see, they were Yirei Shemayim. They believed that the Eibshter, that it wasn't because they didn't have the right weapons, they didn't have the right the Tachsisei Milchama. It was the Banshlan, the Nikofanu B'nei Hashem B'nei Plishtim. There must be a problem with us that we lost this war. It's not possible otherwise. Nikoi Leinu Mishiloi Es Aroin Bris Hashem. Let's take the Aroin of Bris Hashem, and that's the Yavai Bikir Beinu V'Yeshenu Mikavenu. They believed. It's interesting that the Rabbi Shloim is a Ashras Ashchina wherever the Aron is, and they take the Aron along with the Milchama. It's going to help them. We find that also by the Milchamas Midyan. It says by the Milchamas Midyan, by Pinchas went out with the 12,000 Bnei Yisrael to fight against Midyan. They won the war. It says Klei HaKodesh v'chatzoitos hatru b'yoda. They took along Klei HaKodesh from the Mishkan. They took along with them. Which Kalim they didn't take? Maybe even they took along the Aron also, for all I know. It's not clear. But there's an inyan of Ashros Hashchina on certain Chafetzim. It's interessant that there's a concept, such a concept. So they say we take that Ron Bris Hashem, then they're going to be saved from the Mikafei Venu. Vayishlach ha'am Shiloi. The nation came to Shiloi. Vayisu misham eis aroin bris Hashem tzevois yoshev hakruvim. It's a descendant lashon over here. Why does it mention over here yoshev hakruvim? Because it would seem lechoyer that the Kosik, I think, is hinting that they did this without permission. They didn't ask Eli permission. They probably went to Chafni Pinchas, who were not such big tzaddikim, and they said, "Let's take the Aron Hashem." Now it's mentioned Loisha Kruvim because the Aron belongs under the Kruvim. It doesn't belong. It was taken out of place without asking.
If they take the Urin, they didn't take it with the cover. The Kruvim are attached to the cover.
I don't know if they're attached to are they attached to the Kapoiris? Some say they're not, some they are, some they aren't. If you take a look in the description of the first base in Mikdash, it seems that the Kruvim were not attached. It seems that they were on the floor and they were coming up over there. It's not. They must have, maybe there were two Kruvim. I don't know exactly, but it says Yoshev HaKruvim, and again Shem Tzavois. That's also a long lashon over here. It's very interesting sound. Aroin Bris Hashem Tzavois Yoshev HaKruvim. You see this? Visham.
The Krivim were on top of the kaporos.
What?
The Krivim were on top of the kaporos.
That's what you just asked right now.
It's on the floor.
There from it's mashma from the description in Sefer Melachim that there were kruvim on the floor. Maybe there were two sets of kruvim.
The hands were seichim b'chanfim l'mala.
The knofim, the confine, the wings spread on top of the aron. But where was the base of it? From the Torah, it's mashma that they were attached even to the kaporos, mina kaporos and or they were stuck over there, or they were placed over there.
It's a profession picture book for kids.
No, a big picture book, right?
It's a profession picture book. It's attached. Yeah.
Okay, it's really not clear. But it says Yoshua Kruvim Visham, and there was Shnei Bnei Eli Imaron Brisu Alehim Chofni Upinchas. Chofni Upinchas went along with the Aron. This was a very big decision to do it. Vahi Kavoy Aron Bris Hashem Al Machne. When the Aron Bris Hashem came to the Machne, Vayiriu Kol Yisrael Trua Gedoyla, Batehoim Haaretz. It says, "Ki Sevoy Mucham Ba'atzechem Al Tzaretz Tzoyer Eschem Uschatem B'Chatzoytzrois Al Yisechem." That there was the inyan of blowing a trua in a milchama, and Vatehim haaretz means that it's a strong lashon that everybody was it was a big rash. It made a very very big impression. Everybody was very excited because of it. Vayishmu Pelishtim is koil hatrua. This koil hatrua, the sounds of the trua. There's it's not clear if this trua came from a chatzotzres or a shofar, but whatever it was, it was a very strong sound. Vayoimru me koil hatrua hagedoil hazois machne livrim. What is this? They were all what are they? What is the big trua that's going on over there? Vayedu ki aroin Hashem boel hamachne. How do they know? They knew that Aroin Bris Hashem, the Plishtim knew that the Aroin Hashem came to the Machna. How did they know? They probably had spies. They didn't have drones. They didn't have any other way of knowing it, right? And it says before there was a sod, there was a flat area. How did they know that the Aroin Bris Hashem? They must have found out. Vayiru HaPlishtim, they were scared. Ki Amru, Ki Boy Likim Ala Machna. Maybe they saw, not after they were scared. But it says, Targum says, they were afraid. Ki amru bo elikim el hamachna. They came to the machna. Vayomru oy lanu ki lehoisik zois esmael shilashon. What happened before is now what's going on now. Until now, they did not have the Aroin Hashem of their God. Now they have it. We're in trouble. Oy lanu. Woe is to us, the Plishtim said. Mi yatzilenu miyad welehim huadirim u'ele. Who's going to save us from this lashon of Rabbim? We find a lot of places. Elikim Chayim, you see Elikim Hisu Oisi Elikim Beis Avi. You find a lot of times Lashon Rabbim, even though it's only one the Bnei Shalom, but you find such a Lashon with the Shem Elikim. Hoadirim, this strong, this great. Mi Adir Hashem. Okay. Eila Heim Hu Elohim Hamakim Es Mitzrayim B'chol Makot Bamidbar. Now, listen to this passage. It's interesting. This is the same God, right? That was Makim Mitzrayim. Don't forget the story of the Mitzrayim was 300 years before then, maybe even more, and more than 300 years. And still, the Goyim knew about it. Everybody knew about it. Oz nivalu me'el. What's the lashon over there? Oz nivalu me'elim mazim namoigu kosher. Chil ochaz yoshvei ploshes. Plushes the Plishtim. The Plishtim will get scared. They're gonna hear this. What the Kriyas Yamsuf. And it's interesting. Hamakim es Mitzrayim b'chol Maka. Where is the next word? Bamidbar. Weren't the Makas in Mitzrayim? But they were but we haven't. By the Seder we say that all the Makas that they got in the Yamsuf also. There were much more. There's machlekes. It was 50 times as much, and 200 times much, and 250. How much time makas they got? And this was in the Midbar. And over there, Takabite, it says by the Shir Sayom that Yoshe plushes are going to get scared. So this is talking about the makos that were by Kriyas Yamsuf l'chayre. Now look, the next pasuk is very very strange. Here they're scared. They're scared of what's going to be. And then they say, "Hischasku v'yula noshim plishtim." Don't be afraid. There's two groups of plishtim over here, and there's a vikuach between them. Some are scared, and some are saying, "No, we got to fight." Pen tavdu lo ivrim kansher avdu lachem v'yisim la noshim nilchamtem. Now here we see in the Mitzvah kansher avdu lachem. Shloisha esrei shana avdu is kadar la'omer v'arba esrei shana maradu. What should avdu? In those times, what happened is like this. One country would conquer another country, and what would they do? There was no such thing as taking people in goals. That began with Ashur. They conquered a country, and they forced the people living there to pay tax. We own this land right now. You got to pay tax, and this was a big burden on the farmers. They had the tax is usually in the form of oil and wheat. Of whatever the produce was, they had to deliver it to the conquering land. That's avdu. So the Plishtim conquered a lot of big sections of land of Yehuda and the land of Binyamin and the land of Ephraim also, and they forced them to pay taxes, and that was and they didn't want, so they wanted their independence. So that was the fight between the Yisrael and the Plishtim. Now the Plishtim are saying, if we're not going to fight back right now, we're in big trouble, because whatever we did to them, they're going to do to us. they're going to take us over, and we're going to have to pay them taxes. All right. So everything was fine about. They were very scared of the God of the Jews, but when it came to money, suddenly they said we got to fight, because or else we're going to have to pay big taxes to the Ivrim. It's interesting. This word Ivrim for Jews is a Goyish word. We find it in Mitzrayim also. Ivrim. We don't call it ourselves Ivrim. The other nations seem to be calling us Ivrim. What's Ivrim? Ivrim, they come from Pashup Shat, we're Eniklich of Aver. Aver was the grandson of Shem. This Pashup Shat.
Come from Aver Le'av.
Aver Nor Yoshua V'Seichem Me'olam. Terech Abri Abraham Vavi Nachar. That's another pshat. Exactly. No. So what does Ivri mean over there? Who's he talking to? He's talking to a guy. All right. The guy called us Ivrim, and in fact, Targum Unclis on wherever it says Ivrim, it says Yudoi. Yudoi. It's not Dafke. You're talking Bnei Yisrael. It's not Yudoi, but it means the Jews. It does the time of the Targum.
Well, Jews also means Yudoi.
Huh?
It's
of
Jews
course,
from Judah.
It means what the Goyim call us. What the Goyim call us comes from Judah. It's what the Goyim, the Yehudoim, is like the Jews. You know, it's a derogatory lashon in a certain sense.
In German, it's Judah.
The Yuden.
But Yagi Avram Ivri.
Oh, so who's saying? Again, but it's a narration that has to do with his interaction with Goyim. Okay, it's not a. So anyway, so the Pelishtim called us Ivrim. Okay. Vayilochamu Pelishtim, and the Pelishtim fought, and this is the Vayinogef Yisrael, and even though they fought very hard, and Yisrael lost. Vayonusu Ish Loi Holav. They scattered. They ran each to their own oil instead of going a regular retreat of an army. They were just scattered. There was such a big defeat. There was a terrible makkah. Vayipol Yisrael shloishim elef ragli, 30,000 Yidden. There must have been a very big army also, if you could imagine. 30,000 died. I mean, it was a major war over there.
Ragli means people.
Ragli means people, yeah.
Infantry.
What? What are you saying?
Foot soldiers. Infantry.
By Yisrael Mitzrayim, it says, Kishesh Meis Ragli Levad Min Nashim.
From the Rechev. In other words, there's the Rechev Perushim and there's Ragli. Ragli is the infantry, and then you have mounted soldiers.
Yeah, but it's besides the army. It's talking about when the Bnei Yisrael went out of Mitzrayim. I'm saying, Ragli means people walking, men walking, walking men. Yeah, it's not children and not women are also not gone to Ragli for some reason. It's just adults. Yeah, adults. Right. That's. Varoin Elohim Nilkach, and the Aroin Hashem was taken. Ushnei bnei Eli Mesu Chafni and Pinchas, the two children of Eli were killed also. Vayoretz Ish Binyamin Me'amarach. There was a man from the Shevet Binyamin that was in the war, and Rashi says that this was Shaul, but anyway, it's not from the pasuk. We don't know who it is. Vayavai Shiloi Vayayim Mahu. Then he ran and he came until Shiloi. Umadov Kiruim, and his uniform was torn. Vadoma al Roshai, and he had earth on his head, which is a sign of Avelis. We have like a chosin, we put earth on his head because losam pe'er tachas efer, right? Efer, that you put efer on the head is a sign of Avelis.
The Urim was gone, or they brought it back?
The Urim was taken by the Plishtim. The Plishtim took the Aron, and Chafni and Pinchas were killed, and 30,000 Bnei Yisrael were killed. It was a terrible disaster. One of the worst disasters, probably the worst disaster that the Jews ever suffered since they arrived in Eretz Yisrael from the time of Yeshua. It was a terrible thing.
4,000 before.
4,000 before, and now 30,000. This is a real disaster.
It says 30 means about, right?
Okay. Nobody went and counted exactly.
No, here it says
Like in Gaza.
The Stipler says that by the counts in the midbar that it's rounded off.
That's rounded off.
Which one? The 600,000.
When it counts each shade, a lot of times it ends with tens,
Gives
actually
that
tens
tens,
or
tens.
hundreds.
Oh.
It always ends it with tens around. It's very interesting. You brought up right now. It's interessant Zach. There is. Do you have a Chumash Bamidbar over here?
No, we don't.
You just reminded me of something. There's a word from Yankov Kamenetsky, Murdiga word. Give me Pashas Pinchas. Let me. Here. Pashas Pinchas. It says there's a counting of the Bnei Yisrael, right? It says. Is it? No, it's my midbar. That's the wrong one. We'll find the Pinchas. It's such a genius word that I have to say it over right now. Here, listen to this. Reuven b'char Yisrael, b'nei Reuven, etc. Karmi, vayu p'kudehem, shloisha raboim elef, u'shva meyois, u'shloishim, right? By all the other ones, you never find shloishim. It's either chamishim or meir. That's the end of it. Well, here's shloishim. Watch this. Uvnei palu Eliyav, uvnei Eliyav, and dosan aviram, who dosan vabiram, kriya eda an shehitzu al Moshe v'al badas koyrach b'atzoysim al Hashem, v'tiftach ha'aretz espiha, v'tivlu oisim v'skoyrach b'moisu eda b'achoylo eish, eis chamishim usayim ish, v'yil l'neis, uvnei koyrach l'meisu. What's the Torah? No other Shevet you go over with such a digression. The whole story says this is Asna Viram, that they were Hatza Hashem, Das Koirach, they're calling them Mesu. What's going on over here? What's the why going off on such a tangent over here? So thank you for reminding me about this part. I didn't think about it a long time. It was very good. So he says like this. He says that normally an army has to have exact divisions. There's here lieutenants and sergeants and majors. Everyone, a certain amount of people. 50 is usually the lowest number. A group of 50 is a legion, a platoon, whatever it is, 50. Over here, there was a tragedy happened that because of Dasan Vavirim that happened over here, that they were fighting, and so many of the people died. It was a terrible thing, and they wanted to make some sort of remembrance that such a thing should never happen again. So how do you make such a thing that? So Shevet Reuven wanted to make something that they'll never forget about it. So he made that they should have one platoon of only 30 instead of having ending up with 50. They have only with 30. And listen to this. And then it says. Vayiyu l'nes. What does vayiyu l'nes mean? There was a nes.
Symbol. There was a symbol.
Oh, it was a sign. And the vayiyu l'nes goes on the fact that there's only 30 people over here. You hear this? That is only 30 in this platoon. That was the nes. That was a thing that it's unusual. It stood out. It was, and that stayed forever. That the Bnei Reuven would have one platoon of 30 people all the time. And they should never have such thing should never happen again. Rabbi Kamenetsky's word. Isn't it geweldig? Anyway, so thank you for reminding me about this.
That means a tzeichen,
A tzeichen, yeah. A tzeichen. It's something
It's
like a miracle.
Harimu nes ala
The
amim.
nuchash that they put up.
Yeah. Oh, very good. The nuchash.
Nice.
Yeah, high up. It was a remembrance.
A
A marker. Some of you remember. It's a lot to talk about this word nes. By you, lamana anasenu hayel b'torah. So I'm going to pick them up. Anyway, it's not for right now. Where are we up to?
Gimel.
Gid Gimel. Vayavai, and this Ish Binyamin came. V'hine Eli Yoshev ala kisei. Yad derech mitzape, near the road going to the Mishkan, mitzape, waiting, because you see later that he was blind, so he couldn't be. So if it couldn't mean looking over here, it means like waiting. What's going on? He knew they took away the Aryeh Elohim, maybe without his permission even, and he was very worried about it. But the men arrived in the city, and the whole city started screaming. Yishma Eli is Koil Hatzaka. By the way, it's very interesting. These psukim, they use this today. The archaeologists use in. I recommend everybody again. I told you at the beginning. Go visit Shiloh. It's very interesting. You come to the city of Shiloh. You see the ruins. There's the ruins of Shiloh. You see all the houses stretching out. At the very end, after all the houses, there's a big ravine. It goes all the way down. It's almost a cliff. It goes straight down. Right before the cliff is the place where they think was the Mishkan Shiloh. It's very flat, and it's not. And the dimensions are, at least the width, it's like more or less the width of what the Mishkan should have been, and it's an ideal place to have it. Right next to the. So they want to say that this is Aryeh from over here. The person comes into the city is Vayitza here, but he didn't get to Eli yet, because you have to go to the whole city in order to get to the Mishkan Shiloh. So here's a Aryeh. The Mishkan Shiloh was the edge of the city, not in the middle of the city. Because in the Midbar, the Mishkan was in the middle. All the Yidden were schar all around. But over here was the edge. And by the way, in Yerushalayim, it's also on the edge. Right? You're all in Yerushalayim. The Beis HaMikdash, the Makam HaMikdash, is at the edge of Yerushalayim. It isn't in the middle of Yerushalayim. It's very similar to how it was in Shiloh. And the Aryeh is from these psukim. But Yishma Eli is Koil Hatzaka. And Yishma, and he heard all the scream. What is the sound of the loud of many people? It says before, Batehoim Hamachna. Also Batehoim, it's the sound of a roar of many people. The man was running. And he finally reached Eli. He told Eli. Now here the pasuk goes on, and this we find a lot in Sefer Shmuel for some reason. I mentioned before, the zigzagging. You talk about something, you go back, you say about something you should have said before, but you're saying it now. It's like it's here again. And now it says, by the way, Ve'eli ben Tishim U'Shmai Nishana. He was 98 years old. He was no youngster. He was 98 years old. Ve'einav kama v'lo yochel lirais. You couldn't see anymore. He was blind. His eyes stood still. Vayomer ish el Eli. And this man from Binyamin told Eli, "Anoichi haba min hamarocha." I came from the front. Bani min hamarocha nasti hayoim. Today I ran away from the marocha, from this war. But Yomer mehoya hadover b'ni, my son, tell me what happened. Tell me, be open with me. Don't hide anything from me. Vayan hamavaser, and this now usually mavaser. This is very unusual because the word besoira kimat everywhere means a good thing. Besoira is toivus. You don't have to even say besoira. Say usually mavaser. Usually mean lo ish besoira anoichi hayom means I'm not telling you good news, right? Mavaser usually means kol mavaser v'yomer. It's here. Unfortunately, selling bad news. Vayan hamavaser.
Mom explains why he's sticking over here, but Eli ben Tishim Shuma, and he couldn't see.
Why?
Because if he was able to see, he would have seen the Aduma Arosha, and he would have understood what happened. The reason that he had to ask him what happened is because he couldn't see.
He couldn't see anymore.
Comes in right here.
That's very good. Excellent shot. Very good. Very nice. Excellent. And Nas Yisrael b'fnei Pelishtim. The Bnei Yisrael ran away from the Pelishtim. That's number one. Number two, he's sort of like leading up to it. A lot of people died. Your two children died. Chafni u'Pinchas. And the Rein Elohim was taken. Now this is very dramatic over here. Everything he was able to handle, Eli, but when the Rein Elohim, wow. He fell backwards. Where he was sitting over there near the gate of the Mishkan. And his mafraktoi. This is the only place I don't remember any other place in Ganstanach you have the word mafraktoi, but it means the backbone, by the neck. He broke his neck by Yomais and he died. Because he's saying, why did he die from such a fall? Because number one, he's old. His bones are brittle. Apparently he was heavy also. He was
V'koved is separate, so v'koved.
V'koved, I meant to say, yeah. V'koved, and he's heavy. Okay? So he had a lot of weight also. V'hu shofat, that's Yisrael abom shofat. And he said, and by the way, Eli was a shofet. You get to, this Sefer Shmuel should have started off saying Vayi Bayesem that Eli was a shofet, right? And he says, now by the way, he was also a shofet for 40 years for the Mesa. He started. It's interesting, but he was 50.
That's why he was so schwach.
Huh?
Maybe that's why he was so schwach.
You have to deal with clients
deal
for
with
40
clients.
years, so that's another reason.
We know some Parshas Yisro, right? The difficulty of Abba Shah. It's interesting also. The word mafrak. It's interesting. The word we use the word all the time, everywhere. What's a perik? A perik means a chapter, a section, right? Mafraktoi. It's mechulin. You have it in a few places that the nishbara mafrakis, whatever. Mafrakis is it's made of sections. The spine, the back, the nape of the neck is a bunch of sections, right? The word perek that was used so much places, but v'tamid al perek that this means a separate bunch of separate pieces, of perek. And we use the word all the time. You find it in Aramish, you find it in Perek Yud Aleph, Perek Yud Beis, but it's a very it's very rare. Yeah, no, for example, you do see the Torah. Hisparku take off the by the egel. Hisparku ben Israel as hisparku as a zahav. That means to separate, to disconnect. Something that's connected, you disconnect it. You're disconnected.
It's one with you. It's part of you. It's on you. It's connected to you. And now separate yourself from it. Make them two parts. It's
two parts. And that's the word. You'll find in Aramaic. You find proikasanach mipumar yavasa. Right. It means to yikum purka, to free, to disconnect. But just that the word is relatively rare. We find also in Chazal the word prika teina. Prika means to unload. Right. In the Torah it doesn't call it prika, just help him out. But Chazal doesn't. Anyway, the Chalosai, Eshes Pinchas, and Eli's daughter-in-law, the wife of Pinchas, Hora Loles. This Lolas is a very difficult word, and nobody knows exactly what it means. Some means some Yilola, that she was moaning. Hora means she's pregnant, and this could be she's moaning. Maybe she's already starting to give birth. Or some say that the dalet is left out from Loledes. That's according to Targum. It's not the Tishma es Shmuel. She heard what happened. El Hilokach Aroino Elohim. Now this is in the reverse order, right? Umeis Chamiha ve'isha, that her father-in-law and her husband Pinchas died. Vatichra, and she squatted. Vateled, and she gave birth. Kinepchu Oleho Tzireha. Because it hurt. What's it? Seer. Seer is a door has hinges. So the Gemara in Bechoros, I think I once learned over there that a woman has keeps in the baby in her stomach. She has some sort of. It's like a door. It's not really a door, but it pushes. It doesn't let it out. Neplutzera means it turns inside out. And then suddenly everything comes out. That's neplutzera. It turned around backwards. And she gave birth before she was supposed to give birth.
It's no Gemara that says that the Talmidim once mevashel in Isha Zayna. It says
exactly. That's in the same Daf Gemara, by the way, in Bechoros.
It says
the same Daf Gemara.
That's where they came out.
That's the number. That's 200, 250. No more. 255.
Because Isha has the tzira.
And that's why we say Mishaberach for Yeledis or Cholanis. The Choleber, you don't say Ramach because the Isha is supposed to have more Avarim, but then it's not clear which Avarim they are. It's a whole discussion itself that I'm not going to go into right now. Anyway,
Seifer who says you didn't have more teeth than Goyim.
Let me go into it.
Says you didn't have 2 more teeth than Goyim.
Want the wisdom?
They have more wisdom, I guess, right? Because Musa. Now here we find another thing. We find that she died also. We didn't know this before. It's not saying Kais Musa. She died. The Kala, we don't know her name. The Kala of Eli, the wife of Pinchas. Those that stood over her, we find Anochi Isha Hanitzev. It's interesting this lashon again of Nitzav, not the Oimdois. Interesting. The ladies that stood over, probably the Yoldois, they helped to give birth. Alteriki ben Yolad. What does this sound like? Somebody's dying, a woman is dying, and the people standing here are telling her, "Al Tiriki, don't be afraid because you're having a son." Who does it sound? Who? Exactly. When Binyamin was born, right? It's so similar. You see clearly it's a lashon, lashon. Al Tiriki ben Yilad, don't be afraid, you have a son. Why should she be afraid she has a son? You said, but you see the same lashon by Rachel also. Al Tiriki comes zeh lach bein, right? But she didn't answer. She was so. She was dying also, and she was. But she had koyach. She called him a name. Like we find also by Rachel gave a name Ben Oini to when Binyamin was born, right? And when she was dying.
She died.
Take a look. But case Musa. And then she's dying, right? It's Vatikra. It sounds like almost a by the way. By the way, she was also dying. You know, it's a Vatikra lanar ikavoid. She gave a name to the baby that she gave. She gave a name ikavoid. Don't forget, this baby was born an orphan. They're not a father, not a mother, not a grandfather, never, nothing. I don't know who brought him up, but somebody must have brought him up. This ikavoid, Lemar gola kavoid mi Yisrael. That the kavod kavod. This is that it is no kavod mi Yisrael. El hi lokach aroinu Elohim ve'el chamiha v'isha. She also, this is a by the way name also b'chamiha v'isha, but the Tanakh is emphasizing v'atomer gola kavod mi Yisrael ki nilkach aroinu Elohim. This was the main reason she gave the name ikavod, because of the kavod of Yisrael was taken away because the Aryeh Elohim was taken away, and this was the big tragedy. As the infinite lashon e means not. I think never in Tanakh, maybe once in Mishlei somewhere, that the word e in the Gemara we have e efsha, right? E is not, right? But e over here it's very unusual. It's like ein kavod. We have also a name e Ezri in the Torah, but e it means not. Nikach Aryeh Elohim was taken away. We'll stop over here. Capital Hey, Perik Hey, right? Perik. But the Kohen gave these names Perokim. Okay, because the next one is very